Hey y'all, Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm. Thanks for joining us today. We're in the meat bird barn here at our home place, Twin Oaks Family Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA. We appreciate you joining us. So we are making chicken. We're making poultry, but we're not in the kitchen assembling a recipe. We're actually in the barn, on the barn floor, where we raise the chickens that the chicken comes from. I really appreciate you joining us. If you raise meat chickens, or if you're just interested in where chicken comes from when it's raised in small operations, this is a great channel for you to be watching. We're going to actually take a look in the barn and talk a little bit about something that we often tell y'all about. We tell you we exercise our chickens. That sounds like kind of a really crazy concept. We don't put collars or harnesses and leashes on them. We don't take them out to a special arena. We don't put them through obstacle courses, but we do exercise them. The goal with that is to keep their legs strong. One of the really unique and distinctive and special and amazing things about Cornish rock cross meat chickens is that they grow so rapidly. They can accomplish in 6 weeks what it might take another kind of chicken more than 6 months to do in terms of finishing for poultry. They can accomplish that in 42 days. So we go from start through grow to finish, from hatch to harvest in a 42-day span. So we want to show you the flock. First of all, this is May 27th, 2025. The flock that's on the floor now is on day 28. So we start with hatch day 1 when they move in, and we just count each day, and this is day 28, and we go to about day 42. So we're going to show you the flock and going to show you a little bit of the technique of exercising them. It's very simple. It's really great right now. Actually, a lot of them are up and in an active period. I know this doesn't look like a lot of activity, but for meat birds, when a lot of them are going to feeders or going to waters or walking around the pen or interacting with each other, we consider that an active period. So we see things like them flapping their wings, running a few quick steps. They may even posture at one another. Short bursts of energy and activity. They do actually preen like other chickens do, but not as much as other chickens do. They also do dust bathe. Again, not as much as other chickens do. Other than the exercising to encourage chicken behavior out of them is to add bedding, add fresh, loose bedding to their growing and finishing pen. So this pen, I've just finished doing chores, and I've made sure that all the feeders and waters are cleaned up and filled up and in the neat rows that we want them in. And we've shifted actually one of the rows of waters a little bit, actually shifted their short wall barrier, the yellow boxes, those are actually live poultry transport crates. We've actually shifted them out a little bit and gave them about another 1.5 feet of space across the front wall of their growing pen. So we've got things shifted and set, ready to add more bedding today on their day 28. So we're going to be doing that today. But when we add loose, fresh bedding, that encourages those normal chicken behaviors that we're all very accustomed to seeing egg production chickens do, the preening and the dust bathing. Let's take this group back here and look at how we might approach them to exercise them. And they're already like, they know what it's about, so they're already like going to be getting up. So basically, I just have an empty feed sack. And so with an empty feed sack, you know, this material kind of crinkles and makes a little noise. And when they see it coming, they want to get away from it. So they're going to be motivated just simply by me kind of having it in their presence. They're going to be motivated to get up and move. But what I wanted to mention to y'all about exercising them is you don't want to go into a group like this and go like aim clear for the back of them and try to move them all out. You want to think like in terms of layers. You want layers like tiers, T-I-E-R. You want to think in terms of let's move these birds from the front first, if at all possible, and then we'll work back. So it's going to be hard for me to work with the ones like right in front of me. So I'm going to think more in terms of from left to right. So I'm going to try to kind of like move them from this end first in segments and then work my way across. So I'm going to head actually with my handy feed sack. I'm going to just head over this way, and I'm literally just putting it near the birds. You don't want a crazy scatter where they're, so like if I see them piling up, I backed off with the feed sack. We don't want them piling on each other. We don't really want them climbing each other's backs. We don't want them jumping. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Okay, so that moved actually some of my birds, okay? So maybe I'll work my way over here this time instead, and I'll ask these birds to move. So we kind of approach this calmly as we can, okay? So yeah, we're just kind of peeling, and see they're pushing back. So we're gonna just kind of work from the edges away, okay? And we're getting there, So y'all move, okay? We want to keep them exercising. Here, go ahead, get out there. Okay. Why we exercise them and why it's so good to do this is because with their rate of growth, they have to support that changing and increasing weight day by day, every day from day 1 to day 42. We always look at these birds in terms of where are we at right now and compare it to where were we at on day 1. So in other words, we're known for saying, like today, day 28. 28 days ago, each of these birds was the size of a chicken egg. 28 days ago, each of these birds was the size of a chicken egg. I was showing you that one because that one's preening. So they don't preen as much or as often. Oh, so is that one. They don't preen as much or as often as the egg production chickens we're all very accustomed to, but they do preen. They do preen. They're also just not as flexible as our egg production chickens. So maybe they can't preen as thoroughly as our egg production chickens can also. But when we look at these birds and say, okay, so 28 days ago, this fellow right here was the size of a chicken egg, and look at him now. So he's accomplished that growth in 28 days. He's got to have stronger legs now than he had 28 days ago. He's got to have stronger legs now than he had 15 days ago, 10 days ago, 5 days ago. He's not going to keep building his leg strength if we don't keep him moving, because working against all of this increasing growth and working against this need for greater and greater leg strength is that all throughout production, their activity pattern trends toward less and less activity. So they start out really busy, really active, just like our egg production kind of birds. And then as they grow more and more, they have a tendency to rest more and more. And while they're resting, that's actually accomplishing all this rapid growth. But they need to be able to stand up on those legs and go to waters and go to feeders and walk around and hold themselves up, etc., etc. They need to be able to stand up to be able to manure and to be able to walk away from where they manured. So a lot of good reasons you want your meat chickens to keep leg strength throughout production. But a lot of times, left to their own devices, they're probably not going to obtain optimum leg strength. So we use the exercising to help them continue to use their legs. Another tactic we use that is sort of an exercise encourager is we lift the trays of the feeders and waters on scrap wood risers like that. The goal is we're trying to compel the birds to stand up when they're at the feeders and waters, because you can see, left to their own preferences, if they figure out they can sit down and still reach the feeder trays and eat that way, then that's what they're going to do. But we lost an opportunity right there to have those birds doing some weight-bearing exercise when they're sitting down eating. So the birds that are standing are getting some weight-bearing exercise while they're eating. The birds that are sitting are not. So it is really helpful as a producer if we can compel the birds to stand up while they eat and while they drink. That's a much better situation. So we can go in under these trays and add more risers as needed. So those are tactics we can use to exercise our birds. Now I want to tell you the other thing that is another benefit of exercising your birds. Very regularly in raising Cornish rock cross meat chickens, we will encounter individuals in the flock that may be slow growers, may be runts. It may even be to the extreme of failure to thrive. And when that happens, we're going to actually see those birds have really weak legs, and we're going to actually see those birds not be able to get out of the way of the bigger, stronger birds. So when we are taking initiative every day, several times a day, to come into the pen and calmly and cautiously and gently move the birds around, we are also looking for birds that don't move. So if I go into a group of birds, like if I'd go over to that side of the pen and ask all those birds to get up and take a walk, I am going to be looking really closely for any birds that don't get up quickly in response to me trying to compel them to walk. I'm going to look for any birds that stood up but act very reluctant to walk. And I'm going to look for any birds that give me the impression that they can't walk. And then when we see that, we're going to go case by case situation with that and find out what's going on here, see if any intervention is needed, see if there's anything we can do to improve the situation for that bird. Or sometimes it just turns out that it does put a particular bird on our radar that, hey, this bird is a failure to thrive, probably not going to complete production successfully, and we'll just know that we'll probably at some point be finding that bird as a flock loss. Or if it's something where the bird really is suffering, we can opt to cull that bird, which cull would mean to humanely dispatch, which if you need it spelled out further, that would mean to go ahead and kill that bird quickly. So there you go. Okay, so this group is on day 28. There are 417 of them. We have a processing appointment on June 11th, 2025, which should be their day 42. We have a processing appointment for 400 birds. Oh, that was cool. So that's a rooster that's headed to the right and a hen that's headed to the left there. So we have a processing appointment for 400 birds. So we ordered 425 when we set up the hatch for this flock, and the goal is to have 400 on the day that we go to processor. So if you have any questions, let us know. So they're doing good. We do actually have about 3 right now that are on our radar for borderline failure to thrive that probably will not successfully complete production. And the way that we observed that and that came to our awareness was from the exercising technique, that they can maintain their mobility throughout production. So if you're raising them, it is a good thing to really pay attention to and to really try to work toward. So we'll probably, there's one that definitely we need to add some risers under some feeders too. But we'll be adding bedding in this pen. We'll be adding a couple more feeders, a couple more waters. And we'll try to lift some of the trays just slightly higher, I do believe. So, all right, y'all take care. If you are eating chicken, I sure hope you're getting real chicken from real chickens from a farmer somewhere near you. Please heart local ag. That means seek out farmers in your area and source food from them.